Riders, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating how to change your Honda Trail 125 or CT 125 oil. This is going to be a very simple basic procedure, very basic maintenance that anyone can do. That being said, if you're not comfortable doing your own motorcycle maintenance, you are unsure of how to do it, or you just don't feel comfortable, period, handling any type of tools, please bring it to an authorized motorcycle shop to have the maintenance done. That being said, my trail back here has 360 miles. I know Honda recommends that you wait a minimum of 600 miles before you do your first oil change. However, if you don't know, the Trail 125 does not have an oil filter. Therefore, any type of debris, anything that comes from the clutch, all that initial wear from you breaking your engine in is going to be basically just cycling all throughout your engine. The Trail 125 has a little mesh. Therefore, the more time you leave that initial oil circling through your engine, the more chances you're going to have of potentially clogging that mesh. So that being said, for my first oil change, I'm going to go with the recommended oil from Honda. I'm going to be using the GN4, the 1030. This is going to be just regular motorcycle oil. And I'm going to be, for my first oil change, I'm going to be switching from the standard plug. I'm going to be changing to the gold plug. The reason I'm going to the gold plug is the gold plug has a magnet at the tip. So what that's going to do is any type of metal debris that's going to be floating throughout your engine, this is going to go ahead and catch it. Therefore, it's going to minimize any type of potential clogging of the mesh. And it's also going to help you collect any debris. And technically, it should extend your engine's life. So another thing that you're going to be needing is going to be a 17 millimeter socket, or you could also use a wrench. However, the socket is going to be a lot easier to do just because you're going to have a wider distance from your socket to your plug. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and do it. The reason for this initial oil change, I'm going to be using my very thrifty oil catch can here. This is from a gallon of milk. I'm using this because I want to be able to see, once I empty the oil, I want to be able to see how much debris we have circling our engine. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Keep in mind, anytime you're going to go ahead and change your oil, you want to go ahead and bring your motorcycle or car, whichever thing you're going to be doing at that point in time, you want to bring it to operating temperature. That way your oil is going to be thinner and it's going to be able to basically, you're going to be able to remove all of your oil or most of your oil from the engine. Since we are not going to be opening the engine, basically if you were going to be doing like you're checking your clutch or checking your mesh, typically you're going to basically empty your whole engine of oil. Since we're not doing that, this is going to take 0.7 liters of oil. So let's go ahead and do it. So we have already run our engine for about 5 minutes. That way the oil gets to nice operating temperature, and we're gonna go ahead and change the oil. The good thing about the Trail, you're not gonna have to remove your metal skid plate. So that's gonna make it easier. There's gonna be two 17 millimeter bolts, nuts. There's gonna be one that's gonna be closest to your engine. And by engine, I mean to your oil and your dipstick. And there's gonna be another one that's gonna be closer to your shift lever. That one is going to be harder for you to access, so that's not going to be the one. So it's going to be the one down here. So we're going to go ahead now, and we're going to go ahead and just loosen it up a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and do the rest by hand. So we did it. So when I'm doing this, I like to basically use my socket as an extension, so that way especially if it's still very close like this one, you're able to basically just give you a little bit more leverage. So I'm going to basically just hold it as long as I can. Right now it's out. I'm going to pull it out, and there we are. So I can already see there's going to be some fragments here. This is why we do this. So I'll show you guys here. So I don't know if you're able to take a good look at that, but that right there came from your oil. So again, one of the reasons I'm trying to do this oil change a little bit than recommended. So you always want to do it on your center stand. That way all the oil is going to be draining. If you have it on your side, then some of the oil is going to go ahead and pull towards the left side of your casing, so you're not going to get all the oil out. So let me put this here. And now we're going to go ahead and wait for all the oil to drain. All right. So as you can see, we're basically down just to the oil dripping. So we're basically ready to go ahead and install our new drain plug. So here's going to be your gold plug. As you can see, this is going to be right here, why it's called the gold plug. That right there is going to have a magnet, and I'll show you here. So here's the gold plug. Here's going to be the old one, and as you can see, it's sticking to it. So that's what's going to go ahead and catch any type of metal debris from catching. As you can see, here's the washer in here. So the original one that comes from factory is going to be a 17 millimeter. The one from the gold plug is going to be 18-inch millimeter. So this is going to be the MP01 gold plug. We're going to go ahead and install it. And again, I don't like to do anything with power tools, especially when it comes to anything that we could go ahead and damage the thread. So let's go ahead and now put it in place. And again, these initial ones, I like to just do it by hand. That way I'm not overdoing anything. Now that we have the initial threads already in place, I'm going to go ahead and use my wrench here to go ahead and get it in place. So, nope, let me finish it. Let me do a little bit more by hand. So now that we have it there, I'm going to go ahead and get it a little bit tighter into the actual thread. Once we have it to the thread, I'm going to go ahead and at that point in time, then finish doing, I'm going to go ahead and finish it, giving that last pressure by hand. So there we have it. So right there, guys, so you know I'm already getting pressure. So what I'm going to do is now just do a little bit tight. There we go, nothing more than that, because I'm not trying to over tighten it and strip anything in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe the area, and we're going to go ahead and do we're going to go ahead and fill our engine with oil. All right, so we just went ahead. We already emptied the oil from our engine. We put the gold plug in place. Here's all the old engine oil that we had in there. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and open our filler, which is going to be right here. And I'm not sure why Honda did this. Just so you know, guys, there's going to be a rubber gasket there. Make sure that that gasket is always there. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to make a good seal when you're doing this, and you're going to get oil sipping out. Now, this up here, again, I'm not sure why Honda did that, but this is going to be how we're going to be measuring how much oil we have in our engine. So anytime you're going to do your oil change, you want to go ahead and remove it. What I always do is I'm going to go ahead and clean it. And you basically want to have your oils in this range over here. So you want to make sure that you have it, I would say preferably at the higher end, since you have such a little volume. So we're going to go ahead and put it here. Another thing is, when you are checking your oil, all you're going to do is you're going to just basically just put it there and pull it out. You're not going to go ahead and screw it into place. If you do that, you're going to be doing it wrong. So let's go ahead. I'm going to just go ahead and put it back in place. Since once we put the oil, we have to make sure that we run the engine for at least 30 seconds so we get the oil running through our engine and we get an accurate reading. As I said earlier, this is going to take around 0.7 liters of oil, so not a whole lot. If you look here at your measuring, it's going to give you basically how much oil. So we know that this comes with, it's going to be 1 quart. This is going to take about 27 ounces. So let's go ahead and now put this here. And let's go ahead and fill it in. Nope, we still got a little bit more to go. We're about halfway. I want to go a little bit more. All right. So I'd rather have less oil and have to add more later on than have too much oil and have to basically remove my gold plug and, you know, empty some out and then redo the process all over again. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in place. Now I'm going to run the engine for about 30 seconds and we'll check again. All right, so our oil basically should have already run through the engine, gotten somewhat closer to operating temperature. Let's go ahead and check now. So anytime you're checking your oil, you want to go ahead and clean the dipstick, put it back in, and then that's going to be your actual reading right there. So here we are. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to wait a couple of seconds. I'm going to pull it out. And as you can see, we are literally where we want to be. We're going to be at the top end of the spectrum. So that right there is going to be good enough. So we did a good job, and we're basically going to be good to go. So as you can see, there's going to be very little debris in our oil. I wouldn't be surprised if most of it went into our oil collection pan that I have. So we'll have a better understanding once we do our second oil change in about 200 to 300 miles from now, and we get a better idea since we're going to have the gulf plug collecting any type of material or any type of shaving from the engine into the gulf plug. So this right here was how to complete your oil change on a Trail 125. If you enjoy this content, give it a thumbs up. That way the algorithm knows it's good. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on my next video.